Birthright citizenship is back in the headlines, but here's what a lot of people are missing. This is not only about undocumented immigration. If you're in the United States on an H-1B, O-1, F-1, J-1, E-2, or another temporary status, this debate can affect your family too. The Supreme Court heard arguments in this case on April 1st, and at the center of it is a very basic question. Can a president use an executive order to effectively rewrite who becomes a U.S. citizen at birth? In this video, I want to break down what the executive order actually tries to do, who it could affect, why this matters for professionals and researchers living here legally, and what I think is most likely going to happen next. And also, if you're in the United States on a temporary visa and trying to build a long-term immigration strategy for yourself or your family, you can always start with the free case evaluation through the link below. Now let's get to it. Trump signed an executive order on January 20th, 2025, aimed at restricting birthright citizenship. The Supreme Court heard oral arguments in Trump versus Barbara on April 1st, 2026. The order has not gone into effect because courts blocked it while litigation moved forward. The basic legal theory behind the order is that being born on U.S. soil is not enough by itself unless the parent is also subject to the jurisdiction of the United States in the way the administration argues. The administration has pushed a reading tied to ideas like parental immigration status and even domicile. This is a fundamental constitutional issue, not just an immigration policy tweak. And the reason this matters is because immigration status, family planning, and long-term strategy all become more uncertain when citizenship at birth is no longer treated as settled. And many people hear birthright citizenship and assume this is only about undocumented immigrants. That is incomplete. Under the order's framework, it also reaches some children born in the United States when the mother is here in lawful but temporary status and the father is not a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident. Examples cited in the administration's own materials and reporting include student, work, tourist, or other temporary visas. That means this issue directly matters to people in the kinds of categories I talk about all the time: high-skilled professionals, researchers, physicians, founders, and visa holders trying to build a future in the United States. They may be here with H-1B visas, O-1s, TN, E-visas, and other statuses. If you're here lawfully, working, researching, treating patients, building a company, or contributing to the U.S. economy in a temporary status, this is not somebody else's issue. It can affect your child's legal standing too. If two highly skilled professionals are living in the United States in valid non-immigrant status and have a child here, the question becomes, if not citizenship, then what exactly is that child's status supposed to be? The 14th Amendment says that people born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens. Plain and simple. Courts and commentators opposing the order point to long-standing precedent, especially United States versus Wong Kim Ark, which is a case from 1898, which is widely treated as the central Supreme Court precedent supporting birthright citizenship for nearly everyone born on U.S. soil, subject to very narrow exceptions. Multiple lower courts have said the executive order likely violates the Constitution, and federal courts have uniformly blocked it from taking effect while the case proceeds. So even before you get into ideology, the order creates serious uncertainty around a child's legal identity, documents, and status. The issue to me is not just whether people agree politically. The issue is whether a president can effectively change the real-world operation of a constitutional guarantee through executive action alone. The Supreme Court heard arguments on April 1st, 2026. SCOTUS blog's coverage of the oral argument suggested the court appeared likely to side against Donald Trump on the merits, although the outcome is not final until the opinion is issued. The AP reported the justices could decide the constitutionality of the order this summer. My view is that this order is unlawful and I expect it to be struck down. But until the court issues its decision, families should understand that the case is still being decided and the final ruling is not out yet. And this is exactly why immigration strategy has to be broader than just your current visa. A lot of people wait until there's a crisis, a denial, a policy change, or a family issue before they start planning. If you are in temporary status and trying to think through the long-term picture for yourself, your spouse, or your future children, you can request a free case evaluation below. Sometimes the biggest value is not just filing a case, it's seeing the risks early and building the right strategy before those risks turn into a bigger problem. Do not panic based on headlines alone. As of now, the order is not in effect. If you're in temporary status and planning a family, this is a good moment to understand your broader immigration path, not just your current non-immigrant category. If you're pursuing long-term options like employment-based sponsorship or self-sponsored pathways, think proactively about your timeline. Keep your documents, status history, and family records organized. Don't rely on social media summaries for constitutional or status advice. Even when I think a legal challenge is likely to fail, I still want my clients to understand the risk landscape, because immigration strategy is not just about what the law should be. It's about how policy uncertainty affects real families in real time. So for now, birthright citizenship remains in place, but this case is a reminder that temporary status and long-term security are not the same thing. And if you're in the United States on a temporary visa and trying to understand your long-term options, watch my next video on every US high school visa explained next. I'll help you see the full picture and where you might fit. I'll see you there.